Hello and welcome back to Talk of the Town. I think we have a great topic for you next because most of us are on the roads, and when the seasons change, sometimes the driving gets a little trickier. We're joined today by Judy Hudson with Four Lakes Driver Training School. I'm so glad to have you. Thanks for being here.
Nice to be here.
Lots to talk about. So, gosh, the seasons changing really does affect drivers, especially as we get into winter. But let's talk a little bit about what kinds of changes take place behind the wheel as the seasons change.
Well, going into fall is a big change because you got kids going back to school.
Good point.
So
yes.
The biggest thing is the school buses on the road, that we are cautious and we leave home earlier if we have to be somewhere on time, because you're going to be stopping more for school buses, and make sure that you slow down and you give the 10 feet before a school bus and stop and give it time to get where you have to go, and be careful of kids out on the roads now. Leaves are beautiful, but they fall from the trees, and the roads get wet and they get slippery. So always be careful with wet leaves on the ground and the potholes that can be underneath the leaves in the ground, and parking lots. As you see when you drive in parking lots, there's potholes everywhere. So
lots to think about. Yeah, I don't think about fall as much as I alluded to in the beginning, that I think about winter when I think about the season and driving getting tougher. But wow, you just pointed out a whole lot of reasons to be careful in the fall.
And we go into daylight savings time, so we lose our daylight and it gets darker earlier, and animals are out at nighttime, sooner than they usually are. So be careful looking the side of the roads and things like that when you're driving. So
let's touch a little bit more on passing school buses. Now, this is an important thing that has made national news recently, because people, aren't always very cautious about school buses. You get in a hurry, you're looking at your cell phone, whatever it might be, and you can put children in some serious risk. So let's discuss that importance.
Well, it's a law. You have to stop for school buses. You can't pass school buses. The flashing red lights or the arm is up, you have to stop. Unless you're on a divided highway, then you're good. But you must stop, and I mean, these are our children out on the roads, our precious cargo out there. So, be good and slow down, and 10 feet,
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's one of the things that I think drivers make the mistake of the most often, is not giving enough space.
Right.
Think about how much space you really need, and what speed you're going, so that you can slow down in a timely fashion to give these kids enough space to cross.
Right.
Let's talk a little bit about, as the weather gets colder, and some of the effects on our vehicles.
Well, probably the number one thing that it starts affecting is our tires. Okay, so when the weather is warm, our tires inflate, and then when it gets cold, they deflate right away. So we lose air pressure in our tires. So your tires are the most important thing to get you down the roads in your car. So it's very important to check the tread depth of your tires right away. So 5 over 32, 32 is good. 2 over 32, it's time to replace your tires, and in the winter you don't want them that low, your tread depth. You want good tread on your tires. Make sure you have plenty of windshield solvent, and you check your heater and all the basic things in your car. Always, like I tell all my students, have your safety kit in the back of the car, and have your flashlight and your flashers and your, make sure you have sand or cat litter or something, and a little mini shovel back there, and water and blankets, and there's a list of things that you should have in the back of your vehicle for safety.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned blankets, warm clothes. God forbid you should have to walk or be outside fixing something.
Yeah, when I grew up, my dad always had just a wonderful man, a bag of apples in the back of my vehicle all the time.
Cute.
No, really, I'm serious. He was always a bag of apples in the back of my car.
That's
nice. He was sweet.
You just never know.
No.
We got to head to break, but I alluded to this earlier. I want to make sure we touch on it, because it's so important. People on their cell phones, or having the radio on, or talking to friends. There are so many distractions that drivers could have these days.
Yes.
So important to avoid them.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for sharing this today with us. Again, Judy Hudson is with Four Lakes Driver Training School. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching Talk of the Town. We've got lots more coming up after the break.